Clutter isn't just physical stuff scattered around your home. It's a silent thief that robs you of three precious things: your space, your peace of mind, and sometimes even your ability to move safely. After 60, what surrounds you becomes more critical than ever. That small stack of boxes you've been meaning to sort, it's actually a dangerous fall risk. That drawer overflowing with someday items, it's quietly weighing down your spirit every time you open it. But here's the shocking truth that most seniors never realize. It's not what you're holding on to. It's what those possessions are holding you back from experiencing. Which of these 7 brutal decluttering truths are you breaking without even knowing it? Stay with me. One of them might just transform your golden years. Meet Clara, a 72-year-old widow living in suburban Ohio. For decades, her home had been her sanctuary, filled with vacation mementos, books she intended to read someday, and every birthday card her late husband ever gave her. But over time, these treasured items morphed into something else entirely: overwhelming clutter she couldn't bring herself to face. It wasn't laziness holding her back. It was love, nostalgia, guilt. Letting go felt like erasing precious memories. Then came the winter morning that changed everything. Carrying a basket of laundry, Clara's foot caught on an old footstool hidden beneath a pile of folded blankets. The fall left her badly bruised and deeply shaken. For the first time looking around her home, she didn't see cherished memories, she saw obstacles. Clara didn't need a bigger house. She needed less inside the one she had. That day, she made herself a promise. No more navigating through a maze of yesterday just to live my life today. If you've ever looked around your home and felt that weight of too many possessions, you're not alone. Clara's journey might feel familiar to you. And if you stay with me through these 7 rules, you might discover how a lighter home leads to a freer, safer life at any age. Before we continue, tap that like button if this already speaks to you, and subscribe if you're ready to reclaim your space, purpose, and peace in the years ahead. Rule number 1. Stop keeping things just in case. It began with Clara's kitchen shelf. While reorganizing her pantry, she discovered something strange tucked in the back corner. Not 1, not 2, but 4 extra slow cookers. One still had the price tag dangling. She stared at them, confused. When did she even buy these? Maybe for Thanksgiving? Maybe a church potluck? Or maybe, just in case. That last thought hit her hard. Just in case had quietly become her excuse for everything. An extra fondue pot, just in case the grandkids visited. Stacks of plastic containers, just in case she hosted a gathering. Jackets 2 sizes too small, just in case she lost weight. Sound familiar? For many of us over 60, just in case becomes the reason we hang on to things we'll never use again. We convince ourselves we might need them someday. Yet months, even years pass, and those items never move. They just sit there, collecting dust and stealing space from what truly matters: ease, clarity, and peace of mind. Let's be honest, after 60, our needs evolve. Our lifestyle shifts. That old tent from family camping trips? You don't go camping anymore. Those fondue forks? You can't even remember when they last touched cheese. Unused possessions create mental noise, visual clutter that competes for your attention every single day. Clara realized this truth when she tripped over an unopened sewing machine box in her hallway closet. She hadn't touched a needle in 15 years. That machine wasn't waiting to be used. It was waiting to be let go. Here's a gentle but important truth. If you haven't used something in the past 12 months, chances are you won't in the next 12 either. The seasons have come and gone. Holidays passed. Life moved forward. If the item didn't serve a purpose during that time, maybe it's time to release it. And no, letting go doesn't mean being careless. It means being clear about what adds value to your life right now. Ask yourself, did I even remember I had this? Would I go out and buy this again today? Does this item serve who I am now, not who I used to be? If the answer is no, you know what to do. Clara started with 1 drawer in the kitchen, then 1 shelf in her hall closet. Within a week, she had filled 3 donation boxes just from her "I might need this someday" collection, and she didn't miss a single item. Here's the beautiful part. Letting go made room for things that actually matter to her today. Her comfortable reading chair by the window, her puzzle table near the fireplace, and the freedom to walk through her home without feeling overwhelmed. Be honest, how many things in your closets haven't seen daylight in years? What's one item you know you're holding on to just in case? Share in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone else to finally let go too. And don't worry if this feels difficult. Clara felt the same way. But she'll be the first to tell you. Freedom begins when you stop holding on to things you no longer need. Ready for the next one? Because rule number 2 is where most people get emotionally stuck, and it's probably hiding in your attic right now. Rule number 2, memories live in your heart, not your storage bins. One rainy afternoon, Clara was searching through her closet when she found a dusty cardboard box she hadn't opened in years. Inside was her late husband's baseball glove, stiff with age but still holding the curve of his hand. She could almost hear the solid thud of the ball hitting leather and his laughter echoing across neighborhood fields. For a moment, Clara sat frozen, her heart swelling, then sinking. She hadn't touched that glove in 15 years. It hadn't been displayed. It hadn't been used. It just waited in darkness. Was she honoring his memory or hiding from it? This is where many seniors get stuck. We confuse emotional value with practical value. We think, if I let go of this object, I'm letting go of the person or the moment. But that simply isn't true. Memories live in your heart, not in your storage bins. Keeping every sentimental item eventually turns your home into a museum, one you can't comfortably live in. Clara had ticket stubs from a 1974 concert, faded birthday cards, and a worn apron from her mother-in-law. Sweet memories, yes, but they had become clutter, crowding out her present-day peace. Here's the gentle truth. You don't need to keep everything to remember something. Instead, preserve the meaning, not the mess. Take photos of meaningful items. Write a short story or memory caption with each one. Collect them into a memory album, physical or digital, whichever feels right. You'll be amazed how powerful it is to see the memory without storing the object. Clara did exactly this. She placed the baseball glove on her kitchen table, captured it in morning light, and wrote, "His hand held mine for 42 years. He taught our boys how to catch, how to swing, how to lose with grace. I'll never forget that." She then passed the glove to her grandson, who had just joined his school's baseball team. That simple act transformed a dusty memory into a living legacy. And guess what? Clara didn't feel loss. She felt relief, and then joy. I'm not saying throw away your memories. I'm saying honor them in a way that doesn't weigh down your present. Keep what truly moves your heart. But if an item has been boxed away for over a decade and never sees daylight, maybe it's time to let go with love. Letting go isn't forgetting. It's making space for who you are now. Have you held on to something purely out of sentiment? What is it, and what memory does it carry? Share in the comments. Sometimes writing it out becomes the first step toward healing and moving forward. Rule number 3, walkways aren't storage areas, they're lifelines. Clara kept a small footstool near her hallway, right where the light didn't quite reach. It was her just-in-case seat, something to lean on while slipping on shoes. It had been there for years. She never thought twice about it, until the night she did. She was heading to the kitchen during a power outage, her flashlight flickering. One misstep, one soft edge in the darkness, and down she went, a fractured wrist, a bruised hip, and 6 weeks of painful physical therapy. That footstool wasn't just clutter. It had become a hazard hiding in plain sight. Here's the hard truth. As we age, our homes don't just feel smaller, they can become more dangerous. What once felt cozy and familiar might now be full of silent risks. Yet many seniors overlook one of the most important safety rules. Keep your walkways clear, especially your exits. Think about your home right now. Is there a plant stand near the stairs? A rug curling at the edges by the front door? A basket of old magazines beside your favorite chair? Each of these can transform from innocent to dangerous in a heartbeat. And ironically, these are often the very items we stop seeing. They blend into our lives so completely that we forget they exist, until we stumble over them. Clutter doesn't just take up space. It restricts your movement, limits your options in emergencies, and significantly increases your fall risk. For seniors, a single fall can mean more than pain. It can mean a complete shift in independence. Clara's accident was her wake-up call. When she returned from the hospital, her daughter insisted they do a thorough safety assessment. At first, Clara resisted, feeling like they were rearranging her life without permission. But as they walked room to room, something shifted. She noticed things she hadn't seen in years. an umbrella stand wobbling near the back door, shoes spilling into the hallway, even an old trunk at the base of the stairs. These weren't charming quirks anymore. They were risks. They started small, removed the footstool, rolled up throw rugs, moved bookcases a few inches back. Then came brighter bulbs, night lights, handrails, simple upgrades that preserved the feel of her home while transforming its safety. And it gave Clara something she hadn't felt in years: confidence. She could move freely again. She felt lighter, more in control. Here's your challenge. Have you done a safety walkthrough of your home recently? Walk your hallways, exits, and staircases today, not tomorrow, today. Use your phone's flashlight or ask a friend to join you and point out potential trip hazards. You might be surprised what you discover. If this feels overwhelming, start with just one path, the route from your bedroom to the front door. That's your lifeline. Clear it like your independence depends on it, because it does. Have you completed a safety check lately? Do you suspect your home might have hidden dangers? Share in the comments. Your story could help someone else identify a risk before it becomes an emergency. Rule number 4. Your home should reflect who you are now, not who you were then. Clara never thought twice about those boxes in her closet, filled with office supplies, pens, paper clips, sticky notes, old folders, things accumulated over decades working as a secretary before retiring 12 years ago. A red stapler she once loved. A planner from a long-forgotten project. Boxes of binder clips that never saw daylight anymore. But here's the revelation. Those boxes weren't just filled with office supplies. They were filled with her past, a past that had already moved on. For years, Clara kept them because it felt like part of her still belonged to that time. Her work life, her routine, the importance she once felt in those small daily tasks. She kept them out of nostalgia, out of habit. But mostly, she kept them because she didn't know who she was now without them. The truth is, what you keep in your home should reflect who you are today, not who you were yesterday. Think about it. How many of us do this? We look around our homes and see remnants of who we used to be, not who we're becoming. Old fitness equipment untouched in years. Unopened kitchen gadgets from when you thought you'd cook like a chef. Books and supplies from hobbies you've long abandoned. Yet life has taken you down different roads. Here's the reality. Holding on to things that don't serve your present life keeps you anchored in the past. It holds you back from embracing your next chapter. Clara finally faced this truth. She had drawers of business cards she never needed, a calculator untouched since retirement, boxes of paper clips now obsolete. As she opened those boxes, she realized something profound. Her home had become a museum of what she had once been, not a sanctuary for who she was becoming. So she made the decision to clear it out. One by one, she sorted through each box, asking herself, is this part of my current life? The answer was usually no. The stapler, the pens, the folders, all belonged to a different time, a chapter she had already celebrated and closed. What Clara learned, and what you can too, is this: let your space reflect the life you're actually living now. If something no longer serves a purpose, whether it's a physical item or a memory, then it's time to let go. The wonderful part? When you clear the clutter, you make room for new experiences, new hobbies, new memories. Clara felt an enormous shift after donating those office supplies. She didn't just create space on her shelves, she created space in her mind. Her house no longer felt like a museum of what she used to do. It became a sanctuary for what she was doing now. Here's the golden question. Is your home a museum of your past or a sanctuary for your present? Think about it. What do you truly need in your space to serve your life right now? It's time to release what no longer serves you and make room for the person you're becoming. You deserve it. Take a moment to reflect. What's one thing in your home that no longer fits who you are today? Share in the comments, and let's talk about the freedom that comes from letting go. But Clara wasn't finished yet. She learned one more truth about decluttering that changed everything, and it's one you don't want to miss. Stay tuned for rule number 5, because it's the game changer you never expected. Rule number 5. Tiny victories lead to major transformations. Clara felt overwhelmed by the task ahead. Every corner of her home seemed buried in clutter, overflowing bookshelves, drawers crammed with old receipts, cabinets jammed with forgotten kitchen gadgets. Looking at her living room, she thought, this is impossible. I can't possibly tackle all this in one day. Maybe I should just give up. Then she remembered her daughter's simple advice. Start small, Mom. Just 15 minutes a day. Initially, Clara dismissed it. 15 minutes? What difference could that possibly make? But desperation made her willing to try anything. So she did. She chose one single drawer in her kitchen, the one filled with old pens, expired coupons, and crumpled receipts. For 15 minutes, Clara gave herself permission to focus on just that one spot. No distractions. No pressure to finish everything. Just 15 minutes of complete focus. When she finished, Clara felt a surprising sense of accomplishment. That small drawer was clean and organized. It wasn't a dramatic transformation, but it was enough to make her feel like she'd made progress. The next day, Clara tackled a shelf in the hallway. The day after, a basket of old magazines by the couch. Slowly but steadily, the clutter began to shrink. And here's the magic Clara discovered. Tiny wins add up. That one drawer, that one shelf, they didn't seem significant in the moment. But as days passed, those 15-minute bursts of effort built momentum. By week's end, Clara had cleared more than she ever thought possible. Here's the secret. You don't have to declutter your entire home at once. It's about making small, consistent progress. 15 minutes daily is all it takes to build momentum. Now Clara no longer feels paralyzed by the thought of decluttering. She knows it's about focusing on one small area at a time, a drawer, a shelf, a cabinet. No matter how small, it counts. Each 15-minute session gives her a sense of achievement, and that feeling of progress fuels her to continue. The best part? Starting small makes decluttering feel doable. It no longer seems like an endless task. It's manageable, something she can fit into her day, no matter how busy she is. So what about you? What area could you tackle in 15 minutes today? Maybe a drawer? A countertop? Even a corner of the garage? Wherever you start, make it small, because those tiny wins will accumulate over time, bringing you closer to a clutter-free life. Take it from Clara. Don't let clutter overwhelm you. Start small and start today. What's one area you could tackle in the next 15 minutes? Let us know in the comments, and we'll cheer you on. Remember, every little step matters. Rule number 6 addresses letting go of something that's particularly difficult to part with. It's challenging, but once Clara did it, everything changed. You don't want to miss this one. Stay tuned for rule number 6. Rule number 6. You are not a storage unit for other people's pasts. Clara's attic was a time capsule, boxes upon boxes of her children's possessions. High school yearbooks, sports trophies, piles of old clothes, and cartons of stuffed animals. Things her kids had left behind when they moved out years ago. Initially, Clara kept them out of love. She thought, one day they might want these things again. She'd reassure herself, it's just temporary. Eventually, they'll come back and claim it all. But year after year, the boxes remained untouched in the attic. Her children had built their own lives, and those high school memories were no longer priorities. Deep down, Clara knew this truth. So why did she keep holding on? Guilt. Clara felt guilty at the thought of disposing of her children's belongings. What if they returned and asked for something? What if they wanted that childhood teddy bear from their youth? But the reality was her kids had moved forward. They didn't need these items anymore. They didn't even know their mother still stored them in her attic. It wasn't about preserving their memories. It was about Clara being unable to let go. One day, after a heart-to-heart with her daughter, Clara experienced a breakthrough. Her daughter said, "Mom, you don't need to keep all that stuff for me. If I wanted it, I would have taken it. But if I haven't asked for it in years, it's okay to let it go." It was difficult to accept. But Clara realized her daughter was right. She wasn't just storing her children's belongings. She was keeping them out of obligation and guilt. It was holding her back from living in the present and from fully decluttering her space. Clara took action. The following weekend, she climbed to the attic and pulled out those boxes filled with memories. She began with the high school yearbooks. As she turned the pages, she smiled at the memories but recognized it was time to either pass them to her children or let them go if unwanted. She then established a simple rule. If my children haven't requested it by now, they likely don't need it. That's when Clara made the difficult but liberating decision to let go. She called her children and said, "I'm sorting through your old things. If you want anything, please let me know by this weekend. After that, I'm donating everything." To her surprise, they requested very little. They were grateful but didn't feel compelled to cling to the past either. Here's the key insight. It's perfectly acceptable to release items that no longer serve you or anyone else. You don't need to store things for your adult children, grandchildren, or others. It's not about being uncaring or disrespecting memories. It's understanding that clutter isn't just physical. It's emotional too. Holding on to things for others out of guilt only adds to the chaos in your home and your mind. It's your space, and you have every right to decide what belongs there. Your home should reflect your current life, not the lives of others who have moved on. It can be challenging to part with sentimental items, but you needn't store things out of obligation. If your children, grandchildren, or loved ones haven't requested something in years, it's okay to let it go. That's one less box to worry about and one step closer to a clutter-free home. So here's your challenge. If you have something in your home that you're storing for someone else, ask yourself, do they truly need it? If the answer is no, it's time to release it. Let go of the guilt. Make space for yourself and create a home that genuinely serves your present needs. Do you have items in your home that you're holding on to for others? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts on releasing guilt and reclaiming your space. Clara learned one more crucial rule to make decluttering easier, something that had always held her back. You won't want to miss this. It's the most liberating rule yet. Stay tuned for rule number 7. Rule number 7. Your home is not a museum of should-haves. Clara had a confession. She still owned an expensive treadmill that had sat unused in her bedroom corner for over 5 years. She'd purchased it with the best intentions, believing it would help her stay active. But life intervened. Her knee pain, her busy schedule, and eventually, the treadmill became just another piece of furniture she walked around rather than on. Every time Clara passed it, she felt a familiar sting of guilt. I should have used it, she'd think. I spent so much money on that thing, and now it's just collecting dust. But here's the truth. Guilt has no place in your home. It doesn't matter how much you spent or what promises you made to yourself. It's not about the object, it's about the emotion it generates in your life. That treadmill wasn't just occupying physical space, it was consuming mental space too. Every time Clara walked by, she felt she hadn't lived up to her own expectations. And it wasn't the only item. There was that unopened sewing kit, another gift from a crafting enthusiastic friend. She felt guilty for never using it. After all, the gift was thoughtful, and maybe someday she'd take up sewing. But not today. Not at 72. Guilt like this serves only one purpose, to hold you back. It reminds you of things you haven't done, things you promised to do, things you should have done. But the reality is that life changes. Priorities shift. And there's no shame in acknowledging that something simply isn't working for you anymore. So Clara decided enough was enough. She gave herself permission to let go of those things that whispered, "You should have." And the moment she did, an enormous weight lifted from her shoulders. It's not about regret, it's about peace. Your home should be a sanctuary, a place of comfort, not a space where you're constantly reminded of unfulfilled intentions. Let go of the things that make you feel guilty, whether it's an old treadmill, unused exercise equipment, or that half-finished knitting project. Create room for things that bring you joy, comfort, and peace. Remember, the only should that matters is that you should feel at home in your own space, surrounded by things that truly serve your present needs, not haunted by the guilt of what you could have or should have done in the past. Clara learned a powerful lesson in releasing guilt, and it transformed how she viewed her home and her life. It wasn't about the treadmill or the sewing kit or any unused item. It was about taking ownership of her space and choosing peace over pressure. Is there something in your home that makes you feel guilty whenever you see it? Tell us about it in the comments. And don't forget to share how you plan to let it go. But how Clara handled this next part is something every senior needs to hear. Stay tuned for the final tip that will change your perspective forever. The transformation, life after letting go. After following these 7 brutal decluttering rules, Clara was able to release over 30 bags of possessions. It wasn't easy, and it took time, but she succeeded. Now Clara moves freely through her home without tripping over clutter or feeling overwhelmed by unused things. Her hallways are clear. Her spaces feel lighter. She breathes easier knowing that every item in her home serves a purpose. And the most beautiful part, Clara created space for what truly matters: memories, comfort, and peace. Her home is no longer a collection of guilt, expectations, or clutter from the past. It's a sanctuary, a reflection of who she is right now, not who she once was. Have you found yourself holding on to things that no longer serve you? Which of these 7 rules resonated most with you? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your story. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button, share it with someone who could benefit from these insights, and don't forget to subscribe for more practical advice on living your best life after 60. Remember, it's never too late to create the space and the life you truly deserve.